It's always the kitchen, you know? Do you love to cook, and do you just love to entertain? And what is that kitchen doing for you? I know, I can relate. Cindy Dole here, Home Wizards, and we had to talk about the kitchen because coming up on October 3rd is this tour. It's a self-guided tour every year, and the kitchen is always the star of it. There's 4 homes, a part of the Pasadena Home and Kitchen Tour, and you just kind of go through and drive home to home and get a sense of these fabulous designers' take on a new look. And it's kind of a blend of new and old. And with me is one of the designers, Susan Sawasi with Kasawasi Design, and you worked on a home that is really the Craftsman, the 1970s ranch in South Pasadena.
Right.
Yeah. And so when you looked at the kitchen of your design, of your client, besides the fact that the space was making her feel isolated, what did she not like about just the look of it and how it functioned?
The kitchen itself was white on white on white on white. So there was no definition. There was no lighting on the countertops. She couldn't see what she was doing. She couldn't read any of her recipes. She was pretty much in a hole. So the color was just a big problem to begin with. The countertops were a plastic laminate that were just cracking and peeling. And, that's kind of an all or nothing situation when it comes to a countertop. Her appliances, she had an electric range. She was down to one hob that was working.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. And she hated a refrigerator from the day she'd gotten it. It was like a brand new refrigerator 3 or 4 years before. And it stuck out into a very small corridor kitchen. So she kind of had to hike around it. It was just, there wasn't one thing about the kitchen that she liked. Nothing. So it's a win-win situation for me,
I guess, because you said, "Hey, I get to play with some money and have some fun."
and you are going to be really happy no matter what I do.
Yeah.
So that was great.
So do we dare ask what the budget was for this kitchen, or if you can't say exactly what the range is, or it's bigger than a bread box or something?
It's way bigger than a bread box.
More than $50,000.
It was more than $50,000. She ended up going Viking, and she did the split Viking refrigerator freezer so that she has all on one and then all on the other. And we did the Miele coffee and all of the things, the gadgets, the bells and the whistles, and we did the appliance garages, which it turns out she doesn't really keep appliances in. She keeps like phones and things like that, but it really helps her keep everything
I love that.
Totally off the counter.
All your electronics kind of stashed away.
Everything was or stashed away on one
chargers.
side. Yep. And then on the other side, she does keep her blender, her Cuisinart, things like that. But so there's absolutely nothing on the counter, which if you're going to have a kitchen that's open to the house, it's kind of a nice way to do it because you're not constantly having to pick stuff up.
It's on display. It really is right there in the open.
That's right.
And so before it was white, and now it looks like it's kind of a creamy white.
Well, now we took it it is all very creamy. The countertop is called a rosemary. It was a Caesar stone, so there's a little bit of color in that. But really the personality is more in the types of doors on the cabinets. We did a lot of display. One of the things that we have is a huge hutch with very different window detailing so that she has like all of her grandmother's china. She really didn't want to store things. Okay, it's kind of, it goes two ways. The things that were used every day, she wanted stored and out of the way. But the things that she loved, that she cherished, her china from her grandparents, all of that she wanted to see. And she wanted to pull that out of storage and get that in display. So the kitchen has, even the pantry door is glass. So you can look into her pantry. So you can imagine when she's buying things, she actually will select something based on the packaging, because she knows she's going to be seeing it every day. So she tends to find things that look kind of European. She
has
does
a marketing wizard's dream.
Yes, she is. She is that. She is that. That's very true.
Wow. So when you do that Costco run, you pick all red or you pick all whatever boxes that match.
Exactly. Things with like fruit or something on it that looks kind of vintage and charming. She'll buy that instead of, so you don't see any blue wrap. Remember blue wrap? You don't see any generic stuff. You just see the cool stuff when you look in there. And then baskets and clear glass filled with things like, labels on tea bags and things like that. She'll put that in clear glass so that you see everything that's in there.
She must be very organized.
I think this is how she stays organized.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you have glass everywhere, I mean, there it is.
It's kind of unforgiving.
In a bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And so these cabinets are absolutely custom. These are absolutely custom made.
These were custom built.
So flashback before you got involved in her project, you said that she did some things before she hired you. What were some of the things that she did on her own? She didn't fiddle with the cabinets on her own, right?
She left the footprint of the kitchen exactly the same. The cabinet doors, everything stayed the same. The laminate on the counter. But behind her stove, she had taken these gorgeous white They were tile. Basically, it was a tile, but in relief. So it was very opulent, gorgeous. It was like a scene of fruits and vegetables, but it was all done in white. So when we blew that out...
So it was a backsplash.
It was a backsplash to her stove. And since her stove wasn't working very well, it was always really clean. They never got really grungy and dirty. So when we took the whole kitchen out, the way the contractor took them out was in 4 gigantic pieces. So it was almost like archaeological. We come in one day and they're lying there on the floor and they're beautiful. So, and she was very sentimental about them. She spent a lot of money on them, and that was what she lived with for years to make it so she could stand her kitchen. And that was the one thing we even talked about, can we save this?
So did you?
Well, we saved the pieces. And they're sitting on her shelf. And right on the other side of this great room, there's a bookcase that goes to the ceiling with these pieces on display as if she bought them somewhere.
Is that the bookcase that you use to divide a very large room, that living room?
No. The living room is another bookcase.
Another bookcase.
These would look good in that bookcase, and they might, for the show, end up in there. So if anybody shows up, they should look for these big fragments of
secrets.
tile.
The secrets revealed.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to continue talking with Susan a little bit more about the Pasadena Home and Kitchen Tour and discover more things, what her client did before she was hired, and how do you, as a customer and as someone who wants to change over your kitchen, how do you make those baby steps that are smart steps for now, knowing that maybe in a year or two you save up money, you might be able then to have Susan come to your home and really blow it out and make it look even better, right?
Because we hope so.
Okay. You're listening to Home Wizards. You can call on in at 888-KFWB-980, 888-539-2980. Don't be afraid. We have all kinds of questions and answers for you here about the kitchen. We're next after this.